Did you know that there are over 29 million lost and found and forgotten 401k accounts with $1.65 trillion in total assets? Because there are so many 401k accounts in a lost and found box, Congress had to mandate a 401k database to allow people to find their 401k accounts from the past. So let's say you found your 401k from many years ago when you worked for an old employer. Now you have to decide what you should do with your old 401k, 403b, 457, or TSP. Let me show you the decision-making process as to whether you should keep it in your old 401k, roll it over to a new 401k, or convert it to a Roth IRA. Let's say you found your 401k from company A from a long time ago. The first thing you need to find out is whether it has both Roth and traditional or just traditional. Keep in mind that Roth 401k is the money you already pay taxes on. Traditional 401k, on the other hand, is keeping your pre-tax dollars that haven't been taxed by the IRS. So for this scenario, I'm going to say your old employer had both Roth and traditional, and you have money in a little bit of both. Option number one is to initiate a rollover from your old 401k to your current employer's 401k. If your current employer has both traditional and Roth 401ks, then you can do a simple balance transfer or rollover from your old 401k to your new 401k. This transfer is not a taxable event because you're simply transferring your money from one 401k to another. But what if your new 401k doesn't come with a Roth 401k? Then you can still do the traditional 401k to traditional 401k balance transfer or rollover. But the money inside your Roth 401k will either have to stay with the old 401k, or you have the option to make a direct balance transfer or rollover to your Roth IRA. Keep in mind that once you move money from your Roth 401k to your Roth IRA, this is an irreversible process. You can't ever move money back from your Roth IRA back to your Roth 401k. So some people choose to move it to a Roth IRA, or some people choose to keep it in the old Roth 401k until they move to another job that comes with a Roth 401k. But what if your current employer doesn't come with a 401k at all? Then you can either keep your money where it is with the old 401k, or you can initiate a balance transfer from your traditional 401k to a traditional IRA. And do any of the rollovers count towards your IRA or 401k contribution limits for the year? No, they do not. Think of it as a balance transfer from one retirement account to another, and you're just moving your retirement assets from the old basket to the new basket. That's it. But keep in mind that the IRS has certain restrictions on how many times you can make the rollover every calendar year. For example, if you have multiple IRAs and you want to combine them into one traditional IRA and one Roth IRA, you can only make one rollover once in any 12-month period. So if you have a Fidelity Roth IRA and you decided to move all of that money into a Schwab Roth IRA in October 2023, then you can make another Roth IRA rollover until October 2024. And let's say you want to convert what you had in your old employer's 401k to either a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. There are different ways to go about it. And don't forget that you can download my financial resources for absolutely free by visiting firecentcheck.com/resources. And one of them is to simply convert your old traditional 401k to a Roth 401k. The IRS requires an in-plan conversion, which means that anytime you convert your traditional 401k to a Roth 401k, it needs to happen in the same employer's plan if your employer allows it. Some employers don't. And then once the money is converted inside a Roth 401k, then you have the option to either keep it inside the old Roth 401k or do another rollover from Roth 401k to your new Roth 401k, or do a direct rollover to your Roth IRA. It's completely up to you. Easy peasy, right? The other option is to convert your employer's traditional 401k directly over to your Roth IRA. This is also a conversion and a taxable event. You're paying income tax on the pre-tax dollars inside your old traditional 401k and then convert it to after-tax dollars inside your Roth IRA. The other way is to simply make rollovers from your Roth 401k to your new 401k, and then make a conversion inside your new 401k. Again, this depends on what type of retirement plan you have and if your employer allows it. If you don't have a Roth 401k, then your options might be limited, okay? But there's one employer plan that works a little differently, and that would be the TSP, which stands for Thrift Savings Plan. If you ever served or are currently serving in the military, you have a Thrift Savings Plan or TSP with both traditional and Roth. Typically, your employer match goes into the traditional portion of your TSP, and your personal contribution can go to either traditional or Roth. But there's another bucket in the TSP if you've ever deployed to the combat zone, which is also known as the TSP Combat Zone Contributions. This is separate from traditional and Roth TSP because the tax code allows you to contribute up to $66,000 a year in the year 2023. What's awesome about this is that it's both tax deferred and tax-free withdrawals. It's a combination of both traditional and Roth TSP. I did this when I was in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait 3 separate times when I was served on active duty way back in the days. And I just want to be clear that I didn't volunteer to deploy so that I could contribute to Combat Zone TSP. That would be silly if anyone did that because those deployments sucked. But anyway, I'll make a separate video in the future to go into details about this part of the TSP. But the reason why I mention this is because you have to be careful that a 401k, 403b, 457 or IRA doesn't have combat zone contributions. So when you leave the military service and you have some combat zone contributions in your TSP, the best way, in my opinion, is probably just leave that money where it is and let it grow itself. My Roth IRA and 401k don't know how to segregate that combat zone TSP from pre-tax to after-tax because that tax code is specific to the TSP. I didn't have to pay any taxes on the contributions, and I don't have to pay any taxes on the withdrawals when I turn 59 and a half. And a lot of service members, and I know a lot of service members are watching my channel too, leave the service and join the federal employment. And when that happens, your TSP with the military will remain where it is, and your new federal employer or agency will create a separate TSP account for you. When you log into your account, it's going to differentiate TSP military and TSP civilian. You have the option to combine your military TSP and civilian TSP rollover as long as you're completely separated from your active military service. If you're still serving in a Guard or Reserve, you cannot combine your military TSP and civilian TSP because you're still actively serving in your Guard or Reserve unit. You're still technically activated in the eyes of the TSP. The same rules apply when you make the rollovers from traditional TSP to traditional TSP or Roth TSP to Roth TSP. And if you decide to work in the private sector instead, the same rules apply when you make rollovers from traditional TSP to traditional 401k or Roth TSP to Roth 401k. And if you would prefer to move your money from your TSP to IRA, as long as you do traditional to traditional, you're not going to be taxed. And if you need to discuss your personal finances in depth, then consider signing up for my financial coaching session by visiting firesuccess.com/coaching. So what should you consider before you move money from your old 401k to your new 401k or IRA? One, if you're a high income earner with a balance in your traditional IRA, then it might make sense to keep your pre-tax dollars inside your traditional 401k to prevent the pro rata rule. Otherwise, it's going to be a very painful process to make the backdoor Roth conversions happen. If you don't know what that is, I strongly encourage you to watch this video where I explain in detail about the pro rata rule. And two, you should consider your age. If you're close to turning 55 years old, you can withdraw from your 401k early, starting at the age of 55, as long as you quit your job, get fired, or get laid off. Third, if you're not anywhere close to turning 50, but you're looking to retire at the age of 55, then moving money to your Roth IRA will restrict you from withdrawing money until you turn 59 and a half. Four, consider the cost of your 401k plan. If you have a Thrift Savings Plan or TSP, they have the cheapest 401k plan probably in the whole wide world. A lot of people choose to keep their money in the old TSP just because of the low cost index funds and management expenses. However, if you have a private sector 401k, your management expenses may be a lot higher. Some people choose to park their money in their IRAs because the investment expenses are a lot lower. If you make an 8% average annual return with a 401k, you might end up paying 1% or more in management expenses. Five, consider the investment options that are available to you. 401k, 403b, 457, and TSP have, generally speaking, have very limited mutual funds that we can choose from. But with the IRA, you have almost unlimited investment options like ETFs, index mutual funds, individual stocks and bonds, options, contracts, if you do that sort of stuff. If you know what you're doing in the stock market, then maybe consider rolling your money to your IRA. 6, consider how much work you want to put in if you choose to have multiple 401ks going forward. For example, I'm keeping my TSP, but I still have to pay attention to the allocation. Some people choose to combine all of their 401ks to be stress-free because they just want to focus on one active 401k and not stress about the investments and allocations, right? And 7, if your income is projected to go up higher into your retirement, then maybe consider converting your traditional accounts to a Roth account while your tax rates are still low. And keep in mind that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires at the end of 2025. If Congress doesn't pass an extension of the TCJA, then our income taxes are going back up starting in 2026. That's definitely something to consider if you're a high income earner. And I'm sure I missed some other things to consider about the rollovers and conversions. So feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. And I read every comment you guys post, even the trolls. Okay, yep, even you. And I will try to reply to as many people as I can. But just remember that before you move anything to a Roth IRA, that is an irreversible process. The IRS does not allow you to move money from a Roth IRA to a Roth 401k, 403b, TSP, or 457. The other thing you want to keep in mind is the age you want to start withdrawing from your retirement accounts. The rule of 55 only applies to 401k and other employer-sponsored retirement accounts. It does not apply to your Roth IRA. So you'll have to wait until you're 59 and a half to make withdrawals on your interest and earnings. If you're still not sure about how it works, it's okay to just sit on the accounts until you have a better understanding of the rollover and conversion process. Make sure you have a good understanding of how conversion taxes work if you decide to move money from a traditional pre-tax account to a Roth account. And I'm sure you don't want to have a surprise tax bill when the taxes come due. And this has been another beast of a video, and I hope you got a lot out of it.